And as you know, my wife and I have been very successful with real estate. Real estate is one of the main building blocks of how we built our wealth, as well as taking small businesses and turning them into large businesses. Added all that with long-term investments, and that's how we got enough money to be able to take care of our special needs adult children. And in addition to that, extra money, so we put that money into the foundation so that it can help you. Well, I'm going to bring in two of our main people that we work very closely with. This is Ryan and Daryl Messina. I'm going to let them introduce their people. They're going to be talking about some of the investments that people are doing around the world and specifically in the Philippines. Okay, Ryan and Daryl, why don't you come on out and introduce and take it from here?
Thanks, Tom. Oh, we have Jermaine here and Willie Ango. They are actually one of the power couples that we know. They are very into investing and they are also have passion when it comes to real estate. They're actually managers and directing managers in one of the logistics companies here in the Philippines. And we're so glad that they are here. They're going to um, share the things that they know about real estate. So now we have Min Engo here. Min Engo, take it away.
Hi. Oh, wait, sorry. Do you have my slides now? Or
Yeah, if you would like to share it, please.
I have to share it again? I'm sorry. There we go. Okay. So, yes, we're like Ryan said, we're real estate investors. But before that, I would like to apologize. My husband is not here today with us because he's got a new project. He's got a Canadian project, so it's the same time. So he cannot come with us right now. But yeah, please bear with me. So in the Philippines, we have people who are afraid to invest or thought they cannot invest in real estate because they're earning minimum wage or below minimum wage and so on and so forth. But actually, everybody, everybody can invest in real estate in the Philippines. I have practical ways to start and earn from real estate. And these ways, I've done this for 10 years already. It's tried and tested, and this is why I wanted to share this with you. So why invest in real estate here in the Philippines? First, it's tangible. You can see it. Meron kang bayad lupa. You can have a farm or bukid or palayan. You can use it. You can pass it on to your children and so on. And second, it appreciates. In the Philippines, properties appreciate, especially real estate. One of my investment I did way back in 2010 from 450,000, it is now worth 5 million. Imagine the appreciation of one land within the span of 10 years from 450 to 5M. Do you see what I mean? That the difference on how many percentage we have increased the value of that land. Third, it can generate you monthly income. For example, if I lose my regular job right now, I will still have something that will be sufficient for all of my needs and the needs of my children and my family. And lastly, there's so many ways to have or to acquire a land or a house and lot here in the Philippines. There's no one way, there's no we don't have to be scared that we need, that we don't know anything. It's very simple, and I will share you these multiple ways. But first, let's talk about what we normally think here in the Philippines. So the common myths and the reality. First, this is a Filipino. I will translate it later. Kailangan mataas ang sweldo. So this is a common misconception that you have to be earning high. They thought that, oh, I'm just earning a minimum wage, or I'm just a storekeeper, and so on and so forth. They thought their income is not enough. The second misconception, para lang yan sa mayaman. It's just for the Nipo babies, like that. It's for the rich, never for the poor, never for low-income earners. But the reality is, it's not about how much you earn, but it is how you manage your finances. It's strategic management of finances. How are you going to budget your salary, whether it is below minimum wage or whether it is a minimum wage? How are you going to budget it so that you will have enough for a house or a roof over your head? Second, a strict discipline. I follow a strict discipline with regards to how much I earn. Even if my earnings increase by $1 or hundreds or thousand and so on and so forth, I still use or spend the original budget I previously have. With that, I have more to invest with land or property. So again, it's not about how much you earn. It is not because they are rich and you are poor. No, it is just strict management of finances. So this is one of our latest house. It's at the Brentwood Residences, close to, it's interlock. So you can see our happy faces there. So when was my starting point? I started when I was still single. When I was, I forgot my age. I was 25. I started when I was 25. At that time, we flipped a house. So we have this old house. We upgrade it, we repaint it, we change some stuff, and then we flip it. So at that time, I don't have enough. I mean, I'm not rich. I'm just earning a minimum wage like everybody else. So it's not even above the minimum wage. It's just a minimum wage. And since I don't have money, I talked to my mom and we discussed about it, about flipping. So we flipped that house. We sold our old house and we buy a new one. So sometimes say, oh, we don't have a house. What if we don't have a house? Then let's go to my second property that I didn't get from flipping. My second property, I had that when I was earning a little above the minimum wage. So at that time, I'm earning 18,000 pesos. 18,000 is like 3,000 above the minimum wage in Manila. But during that time, with 18,000, I targeted to purchase a duplex, and I was able to do that. Imagine, it is a modest income, but I was able to do that, and I believe everyone can do it too. So how? Then we will go to the second or the number two, because cash is not always required when you wanted to acquire a house. So how did Mian purchase a duplex without spending a money? Because we have several programs in the Philippines where we can do that. And that's what we will discuss later on. So this one is another. So if you don't have money right now, you can use this first government program in the Philippines. So every Filipino that are working should be paying or paying the premium at Pag-ibig. It's around 200 pesos to 300 pesos a month. Imagine for only 300 pesos, you will be member of Pag-ibig government insurance, which is for land purchases and so on. So my first is under Pag-ibig. So if you have Pag-ibig, then you always pay at least 2 years worth. 2 years worth is how much? Just 2,400 pesos or 2,400 or 3,000 pesos. Everybody can do that. Everybody can pay Pag-ibig. And if you have Pag-ibig and you acquire a house, it is so easy. You will just show your ID, go to Pag-ibig, attend seminars like what we're doing. They have seminars too. So these are the key factors for approval. Number one, good credit standing. If you're always paying generously the 200 or 300, then you can have a house. Strict budgeting. Even if you have 10,000 pesos wage or salary monthly, you can have a house. Why? There are different Pag-ibig programs. If you're only earning 10,000 pesos, you can have a house using the 4PH program. With 4PH, you will pay like half of the original amount of the actual house that other people are paying. In my neighborhood, some of our neighbors are paying only 3,000 for the same house that I'm paying 8,000. Imagine that the difference. But because they have Pag-ibig 4PH program, they can acquire the same house that I have. Good credit standing, paying 200, 300, will have the same house. Second, strict budgeting. Make sure you really take note of everything that you spend. Put it on Excel, put it on a notebook, wherever you want to put it, but you have to put it there. You have to write it down. If you will just say, oh, I want to buy a house too, I'm going to Pag-ibig, but you don't put it down, nothing will be achieved. If you don't budget your finances, even if it's just 300 for monthly payment, you will not pay that because you forget about it, then there's nothing. Third is consistency. You started budgeting. You started paying for Pag-ibig, but the next month you didn't. What will happen? Nothing. You will go back to zero, and the government will take back the house that you have purchased because you are not consistent. You don't pay on time. That will be an issue. So always remember good credit standing, strict budgeting, and consistency. That's another one. It's a small house. So I'm going to give you sample number that I mentioned earlier. I said in one of our purchase, I only have 18,000 monthly income or a little above the minimum wage. And with that, you will be approved with 36% amortization equivalent of your income. So that's how Pag-ibig do it. And normally, if you're 25 years old, 20 to 25 or 20 to 30, you will be given 30 years term. And with that, you only have to pay 6,500. In my case, back then, I only pay 3,000 per house. So since it's a duplex, 2 houses together, I pay a total of 6,500. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 6,500. So I got a duplex while just earning 18,000. So anybody can do it. This is one of this was way back in 2009. In this case, it's also under Pag-ibig, but with this, I bought it through foreclosed property. What do we mean by foreclosed? It is a rundown house. The person who bought it initially is not consistent with his payments. So Pag-ibig acquired it back. And then with that, anybody who is willing to pay can buy it. So in this case, I purchased this foreclosed property at a very low price because it's foreclosed. They have already initially paid it, but they were not able to complete it. Okay, so takeaways from my first purchases. Again, high salary is not a requirement. If you're only earning minimum 10,000 to 18,000, you can do 4PH, Pag-ibig 4PH or the regular Pag-ibig. And as long as you pay your monthly dues with good credit score, controlled or budgeted expenses, then you will have this long-term perspective of acquiring, buying, selling, and earning for the future of your family or generation. It's long-term. We don't stop at the beginning. We always look for long-term. That's the very reason why we have to write down everything that we want to achieve. In my case, I want to purchase every time I earn a little higher than my previous income. So if you put that in a goal and you stick on your spending, on your budget, anything higher you invest. That's why I was interested when Ryan discussed this with us, because he says if you earn like $20, was it Buffett? I'm sorry, I'm still not into, I have not memorized the terms yet, like a Buffett bucks. I forgot. Anyway, Ryan mentioned that if you earn $20 and then you invest it, and then earn again, and then you invest it, that's the same principle with real estate investment. You earn a little, you invest it. You earn a little, you invest it. That's how we profit for everything that we do. That's how we profit from our earnings, from our income. Stick to the budget and then think long term. Okay. So what if you don't have Pag-ibig? Not everybody has Pag-ibig. Not everybody are Pag-ibig members here in the Philippines. Okay. One of the ways I acquired properties is direct owner to buyer arrangement. With this case, you don't need Pag-ibig membership. You don't need employment records and so on. All you need to do is to have cash or an arrangement, a contract with the seller or the owner of the property, and then you can have the house. I also did this, and it is good in some rural areas and urban areas where people do not or are not interested with their properties anymore, or some people are going abroad, wants to work abroad with their family, and they're going to leave their houses, then they would sell their house. Then you can do that. It's a direct owner to buy or a man-to-man arrangement. So that's an alternative if you don't have Pag-ibig. Second is short-term deferred cash. Where is that? Sorry. Let's go back. This one. With this small house, we purchased it using the short-term deferred cash. What is a short-term deferred cash? It's like 2 years to 4 years arrangement with the real estate company, and normally done with pre-selling houses. So you said you wanted to do this, but you have already consumed all of your payment options. You already have two Pag-ibig programs. You already have two houses in Pag-ibig that you're paying. You already have in-house financing. You already have bank or bank financing. So another option is the short-term deferred cash. If you have done all the other options or all the other payment terms in acquiring houses or lot or farms, then you can do short-term deferred cash for pre-selling houses. So with that, we're able to fully pay the house in a very short term. So now it's ours. We don't have to worry, oh, what if we lose our job and we cannot pay it anymore? If it's short term, then you can pay it and you can have the title. It's yours already in a very short span of time without spending the full cash in one down. So with this case, it's still installment, but in a span of very short term, 2 years or 6 months to 4 years. So that's a short-term deferred cash here in the Philippines. I like this one the most. If you have like bonuses, 13th month, this is what I do for that. Every 13th month or every bonus I get, I look for short-term deferred cash pre-selling houses. And that's what I do. In a short span of time, I will have a house and I have secured the needs of my children or the future of my children with this without worrying for the next year. So we have discussed how are we going to acquire. Next, how are we going to earn? Because we don't just acquire. The very reason we acquire because we want to earn, right? It's not just acquiring. We're not going to leave it there stagnant or as a liability. Of course, we have to earn from that. That's the very purpose of purchasing anything, whether it be a house, a laptop, a mobile phone. It has to have some value. And the value of real estate is when you earn from it, whether in cash, long-term, or short-term rental. So these are the ways we do to earn from real estate. First is the flipping. I mentioned earlier, when I was 25, we flip a house. So from that, you can earn money. My husband is into construction, as that's his side skill. He's into construction. So we always plan in purchasing foreclosed properties, a rundown house, and then this rundown house, we flip it, we fix it, we paint it, we make it pretty, and then we sell it. So that's what we call flipping. You can buy from Pag-ibig worth 100,000 house, and then you can sell it for 500,000 to 1 million. It depends on how you flip the house. So you will earn more than the double of the original purchase. Second is long-term rentals. This is one of the things that we don't do yet, long-term rentals, but it is one of the options that we wanted to do in the future when we retire. Why we are not doing this yet? We're not doing this yet because it requires constant monitoring in the Philippines. I'm not sure outside the Philippines, but here in the Philippines, you need to do constant monitoring. We already had the research for this. And if you don't monitor your long-term rentals, you might lose some cash. So yes, but with strict monitoring, maybe after we retire and we do that, then it's good. Next is Airbnb and short-term rentals. This is what we love for small houses that we have. We can post it on Airbnb. Anybody can, you can choose who will, yes, or anybody can see it, and then they pay for 1 day, then you earn from it. Sometimes that 1 day is enough to pay for the house itself, if it's still in mortgage, or the house itself, if it's, if you're still leasing it. Second is apartment or boarding houses. Boarding houses is good if you're close to the university belts or close to companies. Then we haven't done this, but we're into apartments. And finally, subleasing. In the past 5 years, I rented a big space. After renting it, I made an arrangement with um, the owner of the property that I'm going to sublease it. When we say sublease, so I rent it. I have a contract of lease, and then I have other companies lease portion of the building. So I'm paying, for example, I'm paying this amount, and then when I sublease it, it can be double. So I don't have to pay anymore because the actual amount is different from what I'm getting from it. So for example, you don't have money yet. You cannot purchase a house yet, but you have the ability and you have time to monitor, then you can rent a building or rent a space and then sublease it. Just make sure you have contracts. I'm very particular with contracts. If you have good contracts, then it is easy to earn from subleasing. You rent a building or you rent a space. For example, you rent a 200 square space and then you sublease it to different VAs, like we call it a hub. And then they pay for one room or they pay for the conference area or things like that. So we call that subleasing. And it's money generating. You earn without actually releasing money with subleasing. This is good with cities. I do this in Caloocan. So I rented and then I sublease. So real estate investment is achievable. Again, if you're only earning 10,000 right now, please go to Pag-ibig and acquire a house using 4PH program. Do not let your income stop you from acquiring a house. If you're earning a minimum wage, if you're earning 12 to 15,000, please still go to Pag-ibig and acquire a house. Let us say your budget is still tight, then you rent and you sublease. Just make sure you make you make an arrangement with the owner of the building so that you will be able to earn from it. But without proper contract, of course, you cannot. Again, it is not limited to high income earners. Anybody can acquire an estate, whether it is small, it is big, is it farm or whatever. Please do it. Do it now. If not now, do it tomorrow. But don't say do it later because that's impossible. You have to put it down. I'll do it now and I'll do it again. So with my experience, with the 10 years of doing this, more than 10 years of doing this, these are my secret: discipline, strategy, and consistency. Discipline with your finances. My friends go shopping for shoes and clothes. I shop houses. Strategy. Research. You cannot be strategic with this without doing your research. I go to places. I research prices. I research needs, people's needs and demands. And then I form a plan and then I execute it. And lastly, consistency. If you start it today, do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next week, and month, and year, and so on and so forth. With proper planning, long-term goals, you can have your first house, your first farm, You can flip things, you can earn more, and you will be able to secure the future of your children, even with a 10,000 peso income. Do you have any questions you want to ask? Because that's the end of my slide. I'm willing to answer if it's within the scope of my knowledge with real estate here in the Philippines.
Well, thanks, Maine, for sharing what you've uh, done for the past many years. And obviously, here in Success and Money Foundation, we are very big fan of real estate. This is how the foundation was funded, according to Tom Painter, with real estate. And obviously, with this as students, we are barely new with real estate, and we are learning many things when it comes to real estate here in the foundation. Now, I really like what you share, and I got a couple of questions for you, and it might be the questions of some of the students who are here right now. Well, first up, you discussed earlier that having a great mindset when it comes to real estate is very important. So, what mindset should beginners develop in acquiring properties or dealing with real estate?
What mindset? I'm sorry.
What mindset? Yes, what mindset should beginners when it comes to real estate should develop?
You should have long-term goal and discipline. You should think long-term always. You have to be strict. That's the usual problem of people starting this. They wanted to do this, they wish to do it, but they don't have discipline. They don't have long-term. They don't look long-term. If you look long-term, you will have discipline because you wanted to achieve that. So as a beginner, we have to start to control ourselves. It's more like self-mastery. If you master yourself, you will have discipline and you will be able to achieve your goals. So yes, that's what I did when I started.
Wow, I really like that. If we master ourselves, then we have the control over our finances, and kind of like prioritize what are the important things
Yes.
that we need. And with that being said, let me ask you, what sacrifices are needed to invest in property? Like in your own experience together with your husband, what are the sacrifice you did, or you do in investing in real estate property? Because many of students here that are listening right now, they might say, I can sacrifice my milk tea or my habits that I do when it comes to finances, but I really like real estate. I would like to acquire that, but there are some things that I can't really sacrifice. And now my question is, what sacrifice needed, to invest in property?
There are many. So I'm not going to butter things up. You will really
Yeah.
sacrifice. You won't believe I'm budgeting our meal for only 1,500 to 2,000 per week. It might be surprising for all. I'm earning high right now. My income is way above the minimum right now, but my budget is still within the scope of my previous budget when I'm still earning lower than I'm earning right now. So it can be food. If you're always eating like a fiesta, then it will be a sacrifice for you. So that's one. But of course, I'm not going to let my children go hungry or be, unhealthy. We're still healthy. It's still proper budgeting, but it's still strict. I go to markets that are buying fresh produce. So I buy in bulk. I buy like 1 month worth of supply and then I budget it. That's how I do it. And they're not allowed to change the plan except for our cheat days. Of course, we have cheat days. So, so that's the first one is food. So like you said, if they're drinking milk tea, then maybe you have to stop it. Milk tea is 120. Imagine if four of us will drink milkshake worth 120 every day, then that's worth a house in a month. Do you see what I mean? 120 multiply by 7, multiply by 30. That's almost 4,000. That's worth a house.
It can be
So,
a monthly amortization of a house. That's right.
yes, that's worth a house. So are we going to drink milkshake daily or mortgage or buy a house instead? Right? What else? Clothes. Instead of buying clothes every payday, which normally Filipinos do, we buy like once or twice a year. We buy quality clothes, but not on a regular basis. We buy quality clothes and that's it for the year. What else? My children, they have piggy banks. They have 3 piggy banks. So if they want toys, they have to save. But of course, we still go out and spend on some days, but still, they're not allowed to go beyond what we have, beyond what we planned. And so many things. It depends on your priorities in life. But if you're a foodie, then it's food that will be your sacrifice. If you're a fashion icon, then clothes will be your sacrifice. If you're into Air Jordan, then that would be a sacrifice. But hello, that was worth a house. That is worth your future. I hope I answered that one.
Wow. Yeah. Actually, that's perfect. And many students who are listening right now, I really believe that they can relate on what you're trying to say. And a few more questions, Main. So
Daryl.
yeah, sure,
Daryl,
go ahead.
yeah, there is actually one question here in the chat. It says, tama po ba need pa din mag-cash out because Pag-ibig will not approve 100% the amount, the property? For example, I want to buy 5 million worth of property, but I need to cash out 1 million?
Yes, it depends on your income and your Pag-ibig credit. Not everybody has for you said 5 million, 1 million. That's good. That means you have a good credit standing with Pag-ibig. But normally, people only have 1.5 M credit with Pag-ibig. Normally that's the usual amount of regular earners. Pag-ibig can only give them 1.5 M. And then you have to cash out some. Yes. So if you don't want to cash out, then you have to go to Pag-ibig and ask them, how much is your maximum credit for a house? So it depends on what you're going to buy. So like I said before, you have to do proper research and planning before you purchase a house, or else you will cry that you will not be able to purchase the house that you want.
That's good.
Wow.
Thank you. Go ahead,
Nice.
Daryl.
Yeah. So one last question for me. You mentioned earlier that you acquired a land and you acquired it for like 450,000 10 years ago. Is that right? If my mind serves me right. Now my question is, what factors help your land investment grow from 450,000 pesos to 5 million? What factors, what you do, what are the factors?
Okay, you need to do your research. Before you purchase a land, you go to the city, ask for a city map. Normally, municipalities or cities, city engineers, they have like 5-10 years map plan. In our place in Bulacan, where I purchased the property, the city has a map that there will be malls around the area. So when I purchase it, some of the malls are not there yet. Some of the buildings are not there yet, but it's already in the city plan. It's already in the plan that there will be a railway station going there. So when you see the plan, the city plan, then you go shopping for properties. Oh, there will be this, there will be that in this place. Then that's the time you go shopping for houses. That's the time you go shopping for land. You don't just buy because your friend asks you to buy. You don't just buy because I tell you to buy. You have to do your research. And again, buying property depends on the area. It's not just, a flip, like, okay, let's buy it. No, you have to study the city, the place, the needs of the people there, and the plan for the future. What will happen to that city? What will happen to that area in the next 5, 10, 20 years?
Wow. It sounds to me that you really have to know the future of that area or of that land in order for you to, to decide whether to buy it for this
Yes.
low amount, and after 10 long years, then it will grow for like many
Millions, yeah.
percent, kind of like 100 or maybe 500%. And as you mentioned earlier, you just bought it for 450,000 10 years ago, and right now the value of it is 5 million. So that's really a good investment. Well, thank you so much, Maine. That's all the questions that I have.
You're welcome.
Thanks again for being in the class with us. It's wonderful to hear the stories that you're doing. It's amazing, the progress that you've done. The big takeaways for me is, you've made a decision that you want to be and have a better financial life in the future than you do today.
Yes.
That's the big thing. You can go spend all the money, you can buy Coach, you can eat it, you can spend it on food, you can, whatever it is. Do you want to have a better tomorrow than just today? And if you do, that's why you start doing what you're doing. And they're exactly right. They're looking at properties. They're looking at buying properties that they can have other people rent from them to pay the payments on it. They're finding really good deals and turning around and selling those properties, taking that extra money and flipping it and doing it again and again and again and again and again. So they are building that up. Also, the cost, the inflation part, the governments of the world can't balance their budgets, so they print more money. So assets appreciate, they go up in value. We appreciate it. But the cost of living, the other side of that coin is the cost of living is that it's more expensive to live.
Yeah.
And you have to get on the right side of that. You've got to get in front of that wave so that you can take advantage of appreciation. And that's exactly what they're doing. So remember, there's 5 F's of what you do. You've got to find a good deal. And of all the properties that are out there, only 2 to 3% in my world fit our criteria. The other 97 don't. So it's okay. Just know right from the get-go, hey, I'm on a treasure hunt. I'm looking for that 3% that fit our criteria. Number 2 is to fund it. And you don't have to get, you don't have to go to a bank or to a mortgage company or an organization to get the funding. That's one way to do it. The key, though, is you can do it that way. You can also get the owners to take monthly payments. And again, only a percentage of the people, a small percent, will do that. Most of them want their cash and they want their terms and they're willing to wait. So they're in the 97%, but the 3% to 5% are the ones we're looking for. And I've done lots of deals because you're going to run out of money before you're going to run out of good deals. So you're going to have to find a way to be able to finance those deals. But really the key is to get it tied up so that you can control it. Then fix what's the problem. What's the problem with this property? Is it a people problem or is it a property problem? And if it's a property problem, it may just need some paint. We call it paint and powder. How do we go in and just clean it up? How do we put a new paint job on the inside and the outside? You don't need to rip out walls and all that stuff, which we have done a lot because that's one of the things we do. But as you get started, find a really good property that's structurally in good shape that just needs, that it's ugly. It needs a new paint job. The yard is terrible. Just go clean up the yard. Get some water on the grass, paint it a neutral color. And so you fix whatever that problem is. And a lot of times you can control that property on an option. Hey, I have the right to buy it at this price, and I have this long of time to do it. And we did that a ton. So we would find a property, get it tied up, control it, have the right to go in and fix it up. And we would just paint it and do stuff like that while I had new buyers that was already on my list that would come and look at it. And many times we would just flip it without literally owning it. We didn't have to go to a bank or anything like that because the new buyers came in and took over the financing. So those are the first three. Now, once you've done those first three, then the last two F's are you going to flip it or are you going to farm it? Are you going to keep it for long-term rentals? Or are you going to flip it to build up your cash? Now, when you make a profit, when you flip it, take that cash and roll it back into the next deal. That's why we have 5 steps to freedom and 7 steps to wealth, because step number 6 is to take and do your real estate. And as you're doing real estate, you make those profits, you roll it back in, you do it again, and you do it again. You try not to live off of that. We want that to continue to build our wealth. And so that's how we do that with that. And real estate has been kind to us. We made over $10 million in real estate just by owning long-term rentals and flipping. But when we got started, we needed to flip more properties to get our cash up. So we had a chunk of cash to be able to go in and do deals. And then step 7, of course, is just do that consistently over time. Have your investments go up in value times time. And that equals generational wealth, because now you have an asset that you can pass down to the next generation. But the most important thing is not just pass down chunks of money to somebody. You don't give them the keys to the Ferrari. You teach them how to drive the van. And then as they learn how to drive the van, so forth, then they can learn how to do what you do. And the most important thing is teaching them, and not by just teaching them, but having them do it. There's a massive difference between what you know and what you do. In fact, I don't really care what you know. What I care about is what you do. Are you out doing it? And this is a wonderful example of some students that are actually out there doing it and having a better life. You'll notice that they look at their budget. Hey, that's step number 2. Remember, you got to separate your money. And they're doing a budget and they're figuring out where they're at, and they're having extra money that they're putting towards their future. So if you want to live just day to day, well, spend everything you got today. But if you want to have a better future, and your goal is to have a better future tomorrow, you want to be better equipped tomorrow than you are today. We want to invest for tomorrow, because tomorrow comes. And then there's the next day and the next day. So congratulations. This has been a wonderful class. I really applaud you for what you're doing. You're making a huge difference. And thank you so much for teaching so many people. And thanks for being with us. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back with our next class. Okay, is there any other questions that we've got on the chat? Any other questions? The one question about the again, going out and getting traditional financing, you can do that. And I'm teaching my daughter, my youngest daughter, and her husband are on their second property now, and they found a good deal, and they've fixed the property up, and they had to go get financing on it, traditional financing, where they qualified for a new loan. But now they're saying, well, we're starting to run out of cash, and the banks don't want us to own too many properties. So the next step is to really get after the owner financing, where you can buy properties off individuals and make payments to them versus the bank. And with the low interest rates right now, it's a very good way to be able to do that. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions. The one question was about the can you get money? That's a little deeper. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Throw in the chat. Otherwise, we are going to move on to our next gig here. Well, thank you so much for being with us on that section right there. That's pretty awesome. We are running out of daylight here. Why don't we go ahead and put the link